Am I muted? That's the real question, chat. No, I don't think I am. Alright, well, let's start this off by saying, hey, what's up, everybody? Oh, I was choking my food. Uh, need to make sure everything's good. But if it's not, that's fine as well. Um, alright, I'm only going to be live for about an hour. So hopefully whoever is watching, hope you guys enjoy. And if you guys are watching, just know that we are going to be telling 3 different stories, 3 different time periods of my personal experiences. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy. I am going to be playing Phasmophobia. That's the game that I am currently playing. It's the only scary game I have. I mean, I have The Walking Dead, but I don't know. I would have to, I don't know. Yeah, it wouldn't feel right. And I am playing on amateur because I am no good at this game. That's right. Let's start this off now. We're playing at Tanglewood Drive. And as soon as I can get this rolling, I will... Give me 1 second. I will... Who the fuck is talking? Alright. So... I'll get started on that. Another thing I want to disclose is that I am going to be possibly either lagging, or if there's a chance that my stream does so happen to end, I apologize. It's just... I mean... That's just my connection. It's not great. Recently, each stream that I have done in the past, I've been playing Grounded, but I do want to switch it up a little bit more. Alright, enough of the bull hickey. I'm gonna be starting the story once we get inside the house. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of hot and sweaty. I don't ever grab this. I don't know why I grabbed it. Grab this, and I should be good. And any noise that you possibly hear in the background, I apologize. Okay. So the 3 different stories that I'm going to tell is one that is kind of close to my age now. Another one when I was about 5 or 6, and that one I think I'm going to save for the last, because that one I remember very... And this kid... Well, hello, kill up, please be nice. That's all I've seen the messages pop up. That's the first time I've ever seen that. But yeah, don't, honestly, I don't want you to watch this. For a lot of reasons. But the story I will be starting with is the one from when I was like, I believe 8 or 9. And it was actually on a Halloween day. I don't like trick-or-treating, not gonna lie. I don't even have a flashlight. I really don't know what to put back. Oh my gosh. Now it's just even more nerve-wracking that somebody's actually watching. I really advise you not to. Please don't. This is, again, more of a test. And I'm very nervous. Okay. So, when... I just say it's a typical type of a movie type story, believe it or not. During that Halloween, I was very sick, and I believe I ate something that was like really not good to eat. Anyway, it was me and my sister. I'll leave the name out, but she was there watching me because our birthdays are very close in the same month. Anyway, so because everybody was out trick-or-treating, and it was like maybe 9, 10, I'm not really sure, but my sister ended up wanting to watch a movie. Given it being Halloween, everybody wants to watch a scary movie when you're around the spooky season. We are in September, but I mean, 30 days isn't enough. So Yeah, maybe. But my bad, I had to mute temporarily. But so back to the story. I was being told to go warm up some popcorn. Um, Again, I didn't really feel like eating, but my sister did insist on us having popcorn for the movie, and I believe the movie was either Scream or it was one of the slasher movies. I'm not very sure, but at a young age, I was afraid of things like that. I mean, if you weren't awesome, I mean, you got some big chest, big guts. Oh, but so I ended up warming up the popcorn, and my sister, I believe, had to take a step outside, giving away candy. I could be wrong, but she was outside, and I was left inside for about a good 5 minutes, maybe six, felt longer. But as I was warming up the popcorn, obviously, even then, when you would put the popcorn button on a microwave or whatnot, and I had two different types of popcorn. One that you actually made on the stove, and those are the ones that I honestly liked a lot more than the ones that you would make in the microwave. So I ended up turning on the stove. I didn't know how to use it as well. Like I couldn't keep an eye on it, so I never really put the popcorn on there. I'd have to wait for my sister's, I guess, guidance in a way. Um, did you guys hear that? Um, it's in here then, eh? And it's freezing. So I turned on the stove very low. It was one of the, hey yo, it was on the stove. It was on very low, maybe like two, and we had the gas one, so the flame was kind of, I'm gonna leave that there. I'm gonna get some stuff. So my sister instructed me just to make the one in the microwave. So I was doing that, and as I was doing that, I went to go see um, if the movie had started. It did. Okay, so we were. Dude, it's really hard to tell a story and try to multitask all at once. It's not. I should have thought of this a lot more better. But anyway, sorry, I totally lost what I was at. But okay, back to the popcorn. I kind of want to get past that. So my sister came back inside. She grabbed the blanket. It was very chilly, and she was preparing the candy bowl for the coming treaters or whatever. And mm, I turned that. I didn't turn that shit on. I just turned the light off. So anyway, as she was doing that orb, so as she was doing that, getting everything prepared, getting them her blanket, and me, I was just kind of getting ready to sit on the edge, because let's set this up somewhere. What is that? 4? Yeah. Um, so I actually put play on the movie, not too long after, like maybe midway of the movie, she was getting like really tired, and me, I was again at like 8 or whatever, and I was kind of getting scared because I was the only one really watching it. Dude, what happened? It's like right here. It's like, all right, because I went over there, it was like 2. Anyway, so as I was doing all, like as I was trying to tell her like to stay up, or if not, what are we gonna do if people ring the bell? All right, so she was like, it's all right. So no one should come. There wasn't really many trick or treaters in our neighborhood or in our area. Um, so as she was dozing off, the movie continued to play. I wasn't really watching it. I was more like honestly trying to just watch the hallway and kind of pay attention. Like if somebody rings the bell or knocks on the door, I'm like, oh man, so I got to be the one to go in and pass out the candy. Which, to be completely honest with you guys, that is like it's a big no-no. I mean, kids should not be handing out candies. You know what I mean? Worst case scenario, you can get robbed or slapped up, or just in general, bad things can happen. Um, so she was dozing off, and she was dozing off, and I just remember I asked her if she wanted me to turn the movie off or if it's okay if I change it, because I did not want to watch it by myself. Um, and then, okay, so as I said, I turned the stove on, and this is like maybe like I said, midway through the movie. I had not realized that the thing's been on the entire time. Again, bad, 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 bad. And then that's none of this is the spooky part. Just let you know, this is more like for context. Um, and so I went back and I turned it off. I ended up putting the popcorn on that particular burner. I'm gonna bring some salt on that particular burner, and kind of walked away. All right, so I walked away, didn't pay it no mind. It shouldn't have been. I don't think it was that hot enough to start popping the popcorn or starting it off in any way. Um, however, hey, I ain't no sucker. But anyway, so where's the picture when you need one, bro? How do you, there we go. So I ended up, give me a second, I'm trying to think here. Okay. A Banshee Hantu and 5. Alright, well, we got our ghost there. It's an Edward. So, what the freak, man? Anyway, but I kind of want. I'm gonna still be in the house. Like if I die, I die. But I want to finish the story and then I'll get the heck up out of here. Maybe I should bring a camera or something. Where does this go? So I'm bringing this with me too. What am I doing? Lucy. What else do I have? Light? I can get rid of the light. So this is like maybe, alright, so as the movie continues, there maybe reach its ending nearing, at least, near the end. Dude, this is a bad idea, I can't see anything. Didn't... Oh, now it doesn't want to show, what the heck? Can I still take a picture of that? We're gonna find out today. Alright, does not count. Oh, that was terrible. Kinda. So, what had happened was, as it was reaching the near end of the movie, somebody rang on our doorbell. And I'm gonna stay right by the crucifix, because if that food comes, I got no way to protect. Is an Obaki some? Anyway, getting off topic. So someone ended up ringing the bell, right? And then I ended up, again, little knucklehead of myself, ended up approaching. I'm gonna leave that there, but I'm gonna start taking my equipment back. So I ended up approaching the door, right? And don't keep playing with me, chat. Wait, how did that? Bro, I can't see. Wasn't supposed to leave like an... I probably didn't get nothing. Yep, 0 value. Hey, what the hey, bruh? Oh, that's the breaker now. Alright, well, I'm just gonna chill again by the crucifix. I'll be safe. Jesus got me. So, as I was approaching the door, I wasn't tall enough to look through the people, so I ended up getting a chair and started standing on it, okay? And then as I was looking through the people, the door had like, maybe right before I put my face to the door, the doorbell rung again. And when I ended up actually looking through the hole, I had the candy ball in my hand, might I add, and I didn't see nobody there. We didn't have a gate or anything like that, like most people would, in front of the door to like you know what I mean, like a secondary door. Well, however, this time I ended up looking and there was nobody there. Um, I'm hearing like, yep, see, so the Obakis are the one that have. Is that just normal? Anyway, and I looked, and a little dumb, curious of a kid like myself, instead of actually, how do you say? Oh, I want to get that picture. What the heck? You gotta be like fast, Chad. 1, 2, 3. Anyway, so I ended up opening the door like an imbecile. So I ended up. We're gonna move though. I don't want to be here anymore. I'm gonna leave this right here. So I ended up opening the door, right? And I don't know if others told you a similar story where, like, if you hear like a doorbell ring or someone knocking on your door, but there's nobody out there right in front, to not open it. Um, I did. All right, I cracked it open, and then I thought the kid maybe was on the left side of the. I guess we're underneath the light. So I was like, "Hello." I was like, "Hey, anybody there?" Like, legitimately, I'm not even lying. It's like a movie scene. And I was just kind of really curious and like, who the hell would do that? Like, why? It's like maybe 10, almost 11. Why would people just be out here and not just, ring the bell, knock the door, and not ask for some candy or go all this way and not receive anything? So I ended up putting the bowl down back inside. Oh, all right. That was a waste. That's down right here. Dude, I can't see like anything beyond that. Like if I get like hunted down, it's over. So I ended up going outside, right? And it was like a full moon. A full moon. It was actually even yellow. And I remember asking my sister asked me, she's like, "Who is it?" And I was like, I don't think nobody. I think maybe they just thought we were sleeping. The bell rang again. And to me, I was already spooked out because like so sleepy that she didn't even bother to get. And she's a good sister, by the way. I'm just gonna say that she's a very good sister. She didn't, what I mean, like let me open the door just because how tired she was. But she went through a lot that day as far as preparing for everything, the food, the snacks, going out and getting the treats for all these little suckers. And yeah, so I understood. But again, just her checking on me was reassuring, and just to reassure you guys, yeah, I might, I mean, she's a good person. But when they rang the bell again, I immediately opened the door and kind of pushed like how you say, like pushed it out, like the door out of my way, moved it completely. And when I went outside, like I'm not even lying, it wasn't even one of those cold nights. But in that moment, like when I had opened the door, it was freezing. Like it was freezing, like somebody like blew some cold air upon me. Like if you, I don't know how to really explain it, but it's like somebody just immediately hit you with just a bucket of cold water. So I ended up kind of like, what the heck? And then across the way were our neighbors, who then at that point had their lights off, and usually they would have the front door light on, and everything was completely off. It's like if the entire power around us, like we went through some sort of outage. That wasn't the case because we still had power. Our front light, porch light, was on, and I ended up going further out. I looked up to the moon again. I'm just a huge, I guess you could say, as a child, I was hugely, like I would highly admire like things that like stars, the moons, sometimes even the sun. Obviously, can't look right at it, but I was always curious about that stuff. I was a man of science at the time, a young stud. But no, when I looked at the moon, there was no clouds. But in the moon, because of how bright it was, even it being yellow, I would see like, and these weren't birds, by the way. I mean, maybe it could have been, like a bat. I don't know. And I had very good vision at the time. Now I have glasses. My eyes are all screwed up. So when I was looking into the direction of the moon, I seen like, and again, this could just, I don't know, like I'll tell you what it could be after the story. So in that moment, I was looking at the moon, and I seen like movement. Let's just put it that way, like movement in the big old yellow circle of the light from the moon. Um, and I'm pretty sure you guys already know what I'm gonna go where I'm gonna go with this. Personally believe I do believe in things as far as like I'm not gonna use Bigfoot as an example, but like witches or beings that are highly extraordinary compared to an ordinary person. Um, so anyway, I looked up and what to me seemed like someone like on a stick, or if not a stick, it's so weird because um, I should get out of here now. The story's gonna end this soon anyway. But so I was ended up kind of getting spooked out. I ended up kind of calling my sister. I might as well just say it. I was screaming my sister Sonia's name. I was like, Sonia, Sonia, ah, like kind of freaking out, man. And when I said that, when I was calling to her, like I looked back at the moon. I'm not even joking. Like it looked like how you would see someone run at you if you had a football and someone was trying to tackle you. Like it just from the sky, like it was rushing toward. Like you can see the movement. But the scary part for me wasn't that. It was after. Like so after I seen that and I immediately tried to run. That kind of scared me. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it was a phone ringing in the game. But so when tried to run back inside, I ran right into my sister Sonia. She was at the doorway and she was like, "What are you screaming for?" She's like, "Why are you outside?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" It's like you didn't hear that? Like there's some ah ah no good. I am the floor. Move, move. No, chat. I'm dead. So I'm gonna tell my story. So as okay, so as I was telling her, like I called for you because I thought I seen something, and she was like, "Why are you outside? You know, this is and that." And then I was like, well, somebody rang on the doorbell. Not only once, twice, and then someone knocked on the door for the second time. So someone rang the doorbell, someone knocked on the door, and then someone rang the doorbell again. And that's when I went out there with the bowl of candy. But before I even fully went out there, I put the bowl of candy down, whatever, whatnot. And I was explaining to her, and she was like, "Well, for one, you're not supposed to be outside. Two, it is almost 11 o'clock. What are you doing outside?" And I was just more shocked because I'm like, you called for me, did you not? I was like, you said, are you okay? Yeah, input my name, whatever. Az, that's not you, yeah. So when she said my name, turns out it wasn't even her. She was like, no, I was sleeping until I heard you screaming, and I was like, what? Is it safe for me to come out? I'm gonna wait outside. Fudge that. All right, so it turns out it wasn't even her from what she told me. Told me, checking on me, essentially saying, "Who is it?" Or go put the popcorn away if you're not gonna eat it. This, and that. That wasn't her speaking. Okay. And I remember when she told me that, she was like, "I was sleeping." Again, she said my name, and then she was like, "You're not. You know better to be opening the door, especially at this time of night." Especially on Halloween. I was like, well, our other brothers, my brother, well, I can say their name. I just won't say mine. My brother Pablo was out there, for all I know, maybe they came back. Stevie was out there, for all I know, he came back. My mother was, possibly coming home, but I don't know. It's like I just thought it was one of the names that I had mentioned, and she was telling me like, no. She said, mom won't come back until this time. He most likely won't be back because he's with a friend, and your brother Pablo, he's spending the night at his friend Xavier's. So, okay, she was telling me anyway. She locked the door, closed it, turned off our porch light just to kind of signify like, yeah, we're no longer passing out candy. And then she told me specifically, hey, do not be doing that again. Don't open the door. Don't do this. Don't do that. Again, that wasn't even the scary part. The scary part is what happened after she fell asleep. So when she was going, I have to go back in. Like the story's not even over. I ain't no sucker. Oh, so I'm nervous, dude. I'm really nervous. I'm putting this away. Um, I'm taking the light with me. Screw all that, bro. You can have the damn camera too. Um, do we have our ghost right? And I'm gonna get finishing it right now because I need to hurry up and wrap it up. I got 3 stories within an hour. 2 now. So after the lights went off, I ended up putting on. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say I ended up putting on some. I think one of the Disney channels, and so one of the Disney channels I ended up putting on, and there was a movie playing, and obviously it was like a marathon of particular type of shows. I think one of them was, I want to say Hannah Montana. I don't know. But that being said, I started watching that, and maybe like around 11:30 or so, our I got nothing. So like around 11 or so, here I'm gonna put this right there for 2 reasons. One, you never know. Might need to shave somebody. Might need to shave somebody else. So as soon as my sister went back to sleep, she slept on the couch because she didn't want to leave me alone. I was watching the Disney Channel, but I had it on low, like maybe 12, the volume at 12 out of 50. I believe our TV was only able to go to 50. Yeah, it was that type of time and era. And I was sitting there, and I'm not even joking. Like I heard, and even now, like I want to get to that too, but that kind of corresponds with another story that I'm gonna tell. That I heard something call to me, like my name, and I looked to my right because that's where my sister was sleeping, and I was like, "What happened? Are you awake?" And she was just snoring away, man. And I just, whoops. Did I get it? No sounds. What kind of recording is this? Anyway, so I was asking if she was awake. She was not. And then oh, I'm so dead. And she came, she kind of, oh, hey, stop. Ah! I can't see, dude. Oh! Goodbye, Lord. Protect me. Por favor. I'm dead. I'm dead as hell. I'm dead as hell. I'm getting out of here. So, I heard someone call to me. Checked on my sister. It wasn't her. She was fully asleep. I'm gonna go hide in that closet, though. So I was calling to my sister, and she didn't wake up. That's how I know she was fully out. And then hearing my name being called, not the second time, but the first time, kind of put me on edge. So instead of watching the TV, the Disney Channel, I ended up watching the hallway. And beyond that hallway, it was completely dark. Normally would have a lamp on or the bathroom light on or something, just so we could see. Because we always had a habit of running into the wall, hitting our toe, or falling over some toys, debris, broom, whatever. It doesn't even matter. And when I heard it the first time, and I don't know if everybody's like this, but you get that sense of feeling that someone's either watching you, or you just know that you're not alone. Like right now, for example, I'm the only one in this living room. I don't feel like that. However, again, I won't get off topic with that, but I was sitting on that couch on the edge, just watching the hallway the entire time instead of watching the show. And something just told me like, you know, go over there and just see. Even though again, there's two things. My bad, I thought I heard something again. There's two reasons why I would go and check. Two for my toys, and then number one would be just to make sure that we're alone essentially. And so I ended up walking over there. I ended up picking up my Shawn Michaels. It was like an old toys. A Shawn Michaels and huge WWE guy. Okay, so don't blame me on that. Ended up coming back, and the power just the TV. I'm gonna say the power went out, but it could have been just the TV. All I know is that when I was walking back, the TV just like made. And this is one of those old TVs where when you turn it off or when you unplug it, it'll make a like a like a specific noise, and that's exactly what happened. So when I ended up, sorry. So when I ended up hearing that and seeing it, I immediately ran to my sister Sonia. I was like, hey, hey, hey. I was like, I think the TV got turned off. And then she was like, what? And then I kind of scared her the way I woke up. I was like, I think someone's here. I was a little off. I shouldn't have said that because it immediately put her in alert mode. She grabbed the bat, which I had no idea it was under the couch. Would be that we had something like that, but she grabbed the bat, a metal bat, under the couch, and she pretty much flung it on her shoulder, and was like all in protective mode. And she started walking all throughout the house. But obviously she told me to wait in the corner, and then she said, "Hold on, our door is open." It cracked. Let's say that it was cracked. So she grabbed me, and oh, dude, I'm getting chills right now because, like, how I am right now in this game in a closet. That's exactly where she put me. She put me in a closet and shut the door and told me, "If you hear me scream, you." Oh, I'm so dead. I think you heard the. Okay, so just like in this game right now, I was in a closet, and she told me if you hear me scream, you push this door open and you run straight and you go outside and go call for help. And then she said, number two, the second thing she said, don't open this door whatsoever, even if you think it's me. And so when I was telling them this kid, so I ended up telling. So before she left, I ended up telling her, "Wait, what's happening? What happened?" And then she was like, "The door was cracked open, so I need you to hide here until I know it's safe." Full on protectable, I'm telling you. She left, and then I hear all these doors closing again. That's spooking me out. So she ended up leaving me in the closet, and she went through all around the house. I heard three different doors opening. The bathroom, I'm assuming, the main bedroom, our bedroom, and then I believe there was another door. And then that was it. I didn't hear nothing. I didn't hear her. I didn't hear her footsteps. I didn't hear anything. So I got scared like how I am now. I'm gonna show you right now. So I ended up cracking. Oh, literally what I'm doing now. I'm trying to reenact it. Open this door, right? And it wasn't one like this. It was like just one solid door. I opened the door and immediately started like kind of crawling on my hands and knees and looking around. Like it was still completely black. Might I add. And the moment like I gotta make sure I'm safe out there. So the moment I opened that door and I was crawling on my hands and knees, I looked and our front door was completely open. And so the door was completely open. The front door. Is he hunting again? Alright, so immediately I ran and I ran out the door and looked back. This is all I did. And to be honest, I didn't even think this is kind of cruel, but I didn't even think about my sister. I was morely thinking about like what could have happened. And so I started walking back like this, looked at the house or whatever, and obviously the lights were off, no porch light, none of that stuff, none of this either. Anyway, so I came outside and my sister was talking to the neighbor, like maybe I'm not gonna say across the street. Our house wasn't that big, yo, but it was like maybe from the doorstep to like right over there. good like 30, 40 feet. And I was like, so yeah. So I started running back, and then she told me like right when I was approaching her, there was a cop that was approaching, just driving. He wasn't even approaching us. He was driving, and then Sonia kind of ran up to me with a bat and telling me like, "What are you doing? Like, why did you come out?" And I was like, "What the hell? You just left me in the house by myself." And she was like, "No, I'll tell you right now." And then she pretty much grabbed me and forced, I'm not saying forcefully, but in a protective way, but she grabbed my shoulder and then led me into the house, shut the door, locked it, and then um, we went and sat on the couch, turned on the TV, and see again. I don't think it was the power outage or whatnot. She turned on the TV, sat me down, and then she was explaining to me that yeah, someone that our neighbor pretty much saw or heard our door like kind of oh that scared me. So wait a minute, you can have that though. But anyway, so she pretty much told us that someone was attempting to break into our house. And before that, I believe she said that she, like on the side of the house, she saw like a dark figure. Our neighbor is the one telling us, or told my sister, and then she told me that there was someone on the side of the house. And then when that shadow or person, let's just call it person for now, was walking towards the light, she explained to my sister Sonia that it was completely like if he wasn't even there. Like it was just a dark shadow just walking right in front of our door, and then hence the door. And I know for a fact I did lock the door. I locked the door, and then I ended up because we had two. We had the normal lock and then a latch, like one of those things that you would like. Let me see, like kind of like an extra lock right here, like on the top of the door, next to the people. Kind of, well, that's not people, but like right there. Um, and long story short, the door was opened, and then my sister, again, she was very spiritual, so she was telling me like, maybe when you open the door, did you possibly think you let something in? I mean, I'm a kid. I don't know. I just thought people were coming to get candy, and you know what I mean. I opened it just to double check if someone was smaller than the door hole was there. Um, but from what she's telling me, that it was definitely not that. We even had to have like somebody from a church come and bless the house and whatnot. My like I got a rosary around my neck right now, but I will say this: it was frightening because afterwards we started still experiencing stuff. And again, I would go for more further into that, but we're already like what's 38 minutes in from the stream, and it was all it was to me it was spooky. Okay, all right. So now the next story I'm going to be telling. Let me end this, and then we'll we'll dive more into what I experience now, because the second story that I'm going to tell you is more present time than way back when. Okay, so hopefully you guys like that one. It wasn't that spooky, just want to tell you, but it was more of what an experience, what it was. And for me, it was quite traumatizing because I didn't really get over that night uh, for a long time. I kind of want to boost this up. How do you do this? What is this? Mantra. Intermediate. What does that mean? Alright, so I'm gonna bump this up to whatever this is. What is it? Intermediate. Is that how it goes? Anyway, alright, so the second story I'm about to tell you, this one should be a lot more shorter than that one. Because it's hard for me to talk and play. So this story, I believe let me see. There's quite a few, but I'm trying to figure out which one would be the right one to tell you guys. Um, I just know that this one was a little more creepy because this is just me by myself. Um, and believe it or not, this is actually when I was living on Southern. I am on. Anyway, when I lived further away from anybody, from people and all that crap. But I will say this. This one, kind of creeps me out because again, this was around the time where I'm not really sure what month it was or whatever. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I don't really know even the time frame as much. I just know I was like maybe 14, 15, maybe less, probably like 13. It was when I had like I think one of my first girlfriends. Okay, I don't want to speak upon that because that's not the main focal of this story. But that person was involved. When I say that, I mean like I was messaging my first phone too and all that crap. I was messaging her, right? Anyway, that's midway. So let me just get this stuff set it up and then we'll get started. No, I can start it off right now. So, all right. So my brother Pablo and my brother Petey, they both went to my father's house. Not that I wasn't invited, obviously. I was more of a mama's boy. Okay, I still am. But so my mom had told me, and which is crazy because she was just like right next door, and she pretty much told me, "Hey, our neighbor's son, which our neighbor was technically our cousin or a very close family friend, and she had told me that, hey, Chandler wants to play with you. Is it possible that you guys can probably play the game or just relax a little bit or something like that while I go talk to them?" Later on, my mom did tell me what they were talking about, and I'll explain that right now too. Again, similar to the first story where someone was quote unquote attempting to break in. This was more of what like what they heard and what they saw and what they felt. Okay, so before we get for more context, our neighbor had experience with black magic, essentially, where they'll do readings on people and so on and so forth. Um, Again, to me, when you dabble into black magic or dark magic or whatever you guys want to call it, not voodooism or anything like that, but anything in that particular nature, it's never good. It's not good. Um, so my mom told me that Chenda wanted to play. That was the neighbor's son, family friend, whatever. And I really liked the kid. He was cool. Younger than me, but cool. Like we would always play some games, or we'll play some toys, or we'll go play hide and seek at night. Again, bad idea, but stuff like that. It was more. I don't know how to explain it. It was safe then than what it is now. Let's put it that way. Okay. I ended up telling them, yeah, sure. Like, I mean, I don't have my games here, but we can watch TV and maybe relax or something. Like, just chill, hang out, talk. So we did, and the first thing that we did was pretty much when he came over, we talked about church because, yeah, I was again a church guy, even though I was a kid of science at the time, and people say the scientists don't really believe in higher power per se, technically God. Um, but as a kid, I knew that there was something more to us than just things being scientifically proven or not. Some things can be proven. That's why you ask a scientist about a certain question, and they'll never give you a definitive answer. And if they do, they're like, "Well, we're about 99% sure," never the full hundo. You know what I mean? But anyway, so we're talking about church, and then we're saying, "Oh, are you getting ready for what our church did? Occasionally, we'll do let's do something scary. What did we do last time? Tanglewood Drive. All right, let's do this one. Um, so I ended up telling him like, yeah, I might not go to this particular. you know, that I might not be going to this kids club, which what you did at my church, you would go for about 2 weeks attending these, I'm gonna say like these fun events, which is what they call the kids club. Um, and if you go for the 2 weeks, you're able to pretty much go to like still pretty much what it is like you go and do lectures, not you, but they'll lecture you on, you know, Christianity and stuff like that, and Bible verses and scriptures and all that stuff. Well, you would kind of essentially be rewarded by the end of it, by going to, let's just say, like a certain water park or a certain field trip or a trip in general. And me, I love to do those things because at that time, as a young person, I love to be very adventurous. Now, not so much, but um, so I was told to pretty much. I was telling him that I was told that I may not go only because I already missed one day. Two, I can't really make that up because again, this is a church. You go there to learn about the Lord. You're not going there for a free trip. You're not going there for the fun or whatever. And yeah, it can be fun learning about, you know, the Bible and so on and so forth. Um, dude, you can't see. I need a light, yeah. I mean, I don't. Nah, it's alright. It's alright. It makes it more spooky. Did we do this one already? No, we didn't. All right. Well, anyway. This is the one I always die at. Anyway, so me and Chen were talking about that, and sorry if you hear my dog in the background. She's a little grumpy right now. She doesn't. She doesn't feel too good, and I'm gonna have to go check on her in a bit. So please forgive me if I just randomly leave the stream or whatnot. But yeah, she was, or he was, Chandler, with me and him were talking about it, and he was like, "No, I think you can still go. You just gotta go and talk to the dean or whatever his name is, the one that pretty much, so that you can, you know, talk about it, so we can go." And I'm like, "Yeah, but it's whatever. It's not that big of a deal." My bad. I'm hearing bags over here. Give me 1 second. Sorry, I had to check on the dog right now. Just kidding. But okay, so me and Chandler ended up talking about that, and it was, again, I believe the time was like 8 or 9, not very late compared to the other stories. And I was telling him that I'm not really too worried about going or not. Like, I mean, I had my fun, but sometimes the way that I looked at it as a kid is that others deserve to have their fair share in, dude, it's freezing with me. Their fair share of, you know, their chance to go too. Not, you know, because I guess it was very limited. Some people were chosen, others were not. A lot of the time I was chosen, so that to me was very, like, I don't believe that. Like, I think they let everyone go as long as, you know, you show that you're truly there for the Lord and not just for the trips or whatever. Anyway, let's fast forward a little bit because I don't really want to talk about that particular part, only because it's not what you guys want to hear. I don't even want to hear it. I love the Lord, and I know He's always watching, He's always by our side. But y'all came for spooky. So I ended up talking to him, telling him, like, "Hey, actually, I think I have my my DS. You wanna try and play that?" And he was like, "Yeah." He's like, what do you have?" And I was like, "Well, I think I have Mario." I was like, "That's the only thing I have right now. I left all my other stuff at my dad's." So I had to go inside of a room, well, my room, and get everything, like the charger, that. Me, I was gonna watch TV again. I was a TV head, and my where's the breaker at? And my, oh dude, I do not want to go down the chat. Can't see. So we were talking. Is that me? Yeah, that's me. So we were talking, and I was telling it, dude, I can't see. I don't even know where I'm at. I don't know the layout of this. Can you see how dark it is? Oh my god. Yeah, I mean. So, my bad. I didn't mute myself. There it is. Alright, so anyway, I ended up then giving him my DS so that, you know, he can have something to do and not just be bored. You know, yeah, I don't believe I had figures at the time. And yeah, so fucking 13-year-old person still having figures may seem odd to you guys, but it's something that allowed me to be free and think clearly, if that makes sense. I don't know where I'm going. Anyway, so I ended up giving him those, the game and that. Okay, I need to get out of here. I can't see. I need a light. And the temperatures isn't changing. So, let's find the door. Is that it? Yes, it is. And then I ended up sitting there, and because the TV was loud, he kind of was like, "Hey, is it okay if I go play in your room?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, dude, go for it, man. It's, you know, it's no biggie." I mean, it wasn't, not to me at least. Don't even have a lighter, bro. I would have died. Um, so I ended up talking to him about, before he went in the room, about some of the things that I've heard in that room. Um, and he was like, "What?" He's like, "You heard things? Like what?" And I ended up explaining to him what, which I'll get into right now. Just let me set up this entire equipment. And just let you guys know, the final story that I am going to tell is when I was like 5 or 6. This was either right before I got enrolled in the kinder or right after school started. Anyway, I'll get more into that in a little bit. We're going to take the camera because I can't see nada. This will help me. Dude, did I even bring a light? Oh yeah, I did. So, as he was playing on the DS or whatever, also, dude, this makes it so much easier to see in here. Dude, I couldn't see nothing. But, so we were talking, and then I told him that the main things that you really need to worry about is just keep that door open. And it's not, again, nothing happened to me to the point where I felt afraid. Here's another thing, bro. I gotta set this up, bro. I can't see nothing, chat. Put it there. And, oh wow. And stick drift a little bit, yo. Gotta clean my baby out. But as I was saying, People were just sorry, I was check. What the? Where's the meter at? I left everything up there. Okay, so you know, I was telling him, and then he told me, like, just for me telling him that, he kind of got scared, and I ended up just hanging out with him in the room, but we left the door open. I'm gonna leave this right here. Dude, do you guys hear that? It has to be in this room. I heard it. I may even got a reading when I was right here. And so he was frightened, spooked by it, by just being in that room by himself. And I told him, yeah, I'll hang out with you for a little bit in here, but I kind of want to go watch that show. And I believe the show again. I was even then and now I was heavily obsessed with the Disney channels and stuff like that. Not so much now. I don't watch cable and stuff like that. I just watch. I don't even watch anything, to be honest. Now, but I was watching Disney channels for sure. I ended up telling them, well, dude, if you want, you can play in the living room with me, so you don't feel alone. He agreed immediately. He was like, yeah, exactly. I was like, yeah, why wouldn't it be okay? Yeah, let's go. And then I went, I pretty much told him to leave you here while I go tell my mom, ask my mom for something. Okay. Where you at? And alright, I guess it's up here then. That's not cool. So he was like, yeah, okay, I'll wait here. And then he went, well, it's right next door. I didn't leave him to himself, guys. But when I was telling him, I was like, yeah, but what? Where'd it go? There's no way. Well, that's giving me chills. Is it in this room? Or is it in this room? Like, which room is it? And I'm just, like, tripping out here. Hold on. Dude, it's in this room, okay. So, I gotta do the other stuff, damn it. Actually, we're gonna set this up right here. So, my door's shut. I don't know if you guys heard that. But, oh, my bad. My dog is actually tripping right now. I think, obviously everything's fine. I need to go check on her. Damn. I'm gonna get these supplies real fast and then I'll end up. You open that door. There, shut this door. And then I'll go check on her. I know she's fine, but I don't know. Her whimpering doesn't sit right with me. I'd rather just be okay. Anyway, yeah. So I went across, asked my mom for something, and she was like, one second. My apologies. So, like, she ended up telling me, like if everything was alright, and I was like, yeah, everything's fine. Everything's that ghost is playing with like some balls or something, dude. That's crazy. Alright, so she told me just to make sure that we lock the doors, even though she's right next door. She doesn't want the doors unlocked and anything like that. That's what my mother said. And then the girl, his mother, she's still hunting. His mother ended up saying that she doesn't feel comfortable, and it's not the idea that she didn't feel comfortable through someone new. It was more that she didn't feel comfortable that her. Dude, I'm on top. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh. Did she hear me? Is that what it was? She's not supposed to hear me? Bro. Well, that was a fail. Yokai. You think she probably heard me? Oh my god, I barely realized. Duh. I'm not in the party. I'm not. Yeah, she definitely heard me. I'm an imbecile. I'm so retarded. Wow. I'm so. I forgot. Okay. I mean, for some reason I thought because I'm streaming that she wouldn't. It wouldn't. You know what I mean? That is crazy. That actually scared me. Anyway. Well, let's run it back. Um. That was just not cool, man. Not cool, like at all. Camp. We'll go to this one. Why not? Since we are speaking about camp in some capacity. And anyway, so my mom was telling her that no, everything should be fine, you know, and then his mom was saying that no, this isn't a fine thing because she felt, I guess, some sort of type of energy, but she wasn't sure if it was coming from our apartment or our apartment, our area, or hers. And so she started doing a reading inside her own house with my mom there. Might add you, and that's why my mom told me just to stay over there, stay in the other room, keep the door locked, don't come out, and if you do need anything, to call me. And I was like, okay, I mean, yeah, sure. I was like, but I don't think we will need to. The idea is we just need someone in the house. And she was like, yeah, no, I know. She's like, but we're right here. I'm right outside. She's doing her little thing, which that's what she called it. But as an adult, I now know it's a reading. She was doing that inside her house by herself, and then my mom was just outside in the door talking to my dad on the phone or something. And then I ended up going back inside. I was like, hey, what's up, Cheno? And he, like, right when I opened the door, I was like, kind of walking, hey, Cheno, you okay? And I was like, what level are you on? And I just seen him running towards me, and I was like, whoa, hey, careful, dude, you're gonna drop that and you're gonna break it, man. And he was like, no, I'm sorry. He was like, but, dude, I thought I saw somebody. And I was like, what? I was like, dude, what are you talking about, man? Like, like, you didn't see anything. Like, or if you did, show me where it was at. Because, again, as a kid, I'm like, I didn't believe that stuff. So I was like, all right, well, show me. And he was like, no, dude, he was like, it was in your room. And I'm like, my room? And he was like, yeah. He was like, it was, like, tall and like he started tearing up, telling me, and I didn't want to something's here or whatever. And I was like, well, damn. I was like, if you want, then we can. Dude, I wish you guys can hear what's happening around me right now. Like, not the dog. The dog is fine, guys. I checked. She's fine. We just took her out, so I think she's just upset right now that nobody right now is playing with her, which we will in a bit. But you know. So I was like, all right, well, if you want, let's go hang out in the living room, dude. And then he was like, all right. He was like, yeah, but can we leave a light on? I was like, yeah, sure. I mean, which one though? I was like, he was like, all of them. And again, that made me chuckle because I'm like, what the heck? Why are you gonna leave them all on, dude? But that's just unnecessary. I didn't tell him that, but I was thinking to myself, like, yeah, that's kind of like overkill, man. Why would you want to do that? Um, so I obliged. I ended up doing that. And then as we were just chilling, we were watching TV. He didn't even want to play the DS anymore. He gave it up. And as we were just chilling there, about maybe 30 minutes went by. He started yawning, and then he was telling me, "Yeah, I think I'm kind of thirsty, man." And I was like, "Okay, I'll go get you. You want like water, or some Kool-Aid, juice, what?" And he was like, "I'll take whatever, just anything. I'm thirsty." Oh, girl, that dog kind of scares me too, because like, I mean, what if she senses something and I don't? And I ended up just giving her a snack, just like a treat, just to maybe hopefully it'll calm her down. Um, Normally I'll try to have her with me though too, at least near me, because again, dogs are really protective and they're very, like it's odd. But anyway, um, I was like, yeah, well, whatever, I'll go get you some food. And he's like, okay. He's like, do you have anything like to eat too? I was like, yeah, we have pizza rolls. I was like, you want some of those? And he was like, yeah, whatever you have, man. He said, I'm not picky. I was like, all right, well, we'll go do that. Dude, I only got one smudge, so that's bad. So anyway, I ended up doing all that. And when in our kitchen, that kitchen, particularly when you pass the TV, it's kind of, you have to turn. So it has like an angle. And he was like the moment I went in there, I got the Kool-Aid first, because it'd be the fastest thing to get, right? And then, like, hold on. Um, but yeah, so like I said, the thing had like a corner, right? Like the angle. And so I have to mute my mic sometimes because I just have to make sure that everything's alright here. And again, me telling these stories is saying where you feed into the energy, sometimes it'll manifest itself. And again, last story I'm gonna show you or tell you is what's really gonna, I don't know. But anyway, so Chendo, that's his name, little dude, came up to me and he was like, or not even before, right before that, I was getting the Kool-Aid because, like I said, I had to put the pizza rolls in for a good minute or two. And when I put them in there, it started, it went beep, and then started, and then I ended up putting ice inside the cup. Well, right when I was doing that, I could just see the little dude staring at the hallway, but walking sideways, like basically towards the kitchen. And man, hold on. So as he was passing, like towards me, walking sideways, I was like, "What? What are you doing, dude?" And he was like, "Stay right here, stay right here." And I was like, what the heck? For what, dude? And then he was like, no, Eddie, be quiet. And I was like, no. What's the problem? What's happening? And he always had this red, that's kind of ironic now because I actually have like a red bracelet on. Like it's like a charm bracelet. And my mom gave it to me to recently, actually, like about a year ago. That's not recent, but fairly recent. About a year ago to technically ward off like bad energy. Oh, he's in here. Y'all see that foot? All right, well, let me get everything here. And so yeah, he ended up telling me that as he was approaching, he was like, no. He's like, someone was standing right there by the corner, and I'm like kind of tripping out because I'm like, dude, it's just us. The door's locked. Like nobody's inside the house. And he was like, no, he's on for real. And he called me by my name. He was like, shh, be quiet. And I was like, what, dude? What are you freaking out about? I was like, if we have to, you want to call my mom so that we can call your mom? I was like, do you want to go home? Like, what seems to be the problem? And he was telling me like, no, I don't want to. And he was like, but what the hell? And he was telling me, oh wow, that's a 5. You know, what the hell? Keep turning on my damn lights, you having sucker. So he was telling me, like, no, don't call my mom. He was like, 'cause then she's gonna make a big scene out of it and everything. And I'm like, that's the whole point, you know. She's probably trying to look out for you. Like, what's the problem, man? And he was no, I'm not playing. He was like, I think I seen somebody just standing there over there by the door. And I was like, and then it started freaking me out because previously, I had a friend over and he was saying that he just felt like someone was always watching him. And the thing is that when he was sleeping, again, I would sleep on the floor and then my friend would sleep on the couch. It's because like I wouldn't let my friend like sleep out by himself. And I'm over here telling him like, no, dude, you'll be fine. Just, you know what I mean? Just relax. And he was like, no, dude, like you don't understand. Like, you know, like I'm like falling asleep and I feel like someone taps me or something wakes me up. Oh. And I'm like, how does it feel? Like, how are you feeling? Like, huh? He was like, no, dude, like, anyway, back to Chendol. He was like, no, he's like, I feel like, you know, somebody was standing by that door, man. He's like, 'cause I was gonna kind of go home, 'cause my stomach's not feeling good. And I'm like, okay, well then I should call your mom, should I not, dude? And he's like, I don't, should you, or what seems to be the problem? Are you here? Are you not? Are you friendly? Show yourself. My bad, I had to speak into that. I don't know if that's working right now. Oh, hell no. Where's the chat? Bro! Run faster, Ray! Run faster, Ray! Alright, so anyway, I'm safe, I think. And he was telling me that, Chandler was telling me that, no, I saw him and he was really big and he was walking towards me, and that's why I started coming to you in the kitchen. And I'm like, what the heck, dude? Are you serious? Like, that's what I told him. I was like, are you serious, man? And he was like, yeah. He's like, I need a camera. And I was like, no, dude, I think we're okay. And then he was like, no. He's like, we're not. And so I ended up calling my mom. But before I did, like, when I was calling him, he pushed my shoulder and said, he was like, no, look. And then when I looked, like, oh my gosh. When I had looked, like, this is one of the first times I actually seen something. It was like something like walked by. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it was like as tall as my brother, my eldest brother, who was like 6'2" or 6'1". What the crap? And dude, I cannot see. What is the deal? Is that an orb? Hey, And so he was telling me anyway. But when he told me that, I kind of looked at the corner of our thing, and he immediately like bolted. Like he ran. He tried to run outside, and again we held. Ah! I'm totally dead. And we would always. Dude, this is frightening. Hold on. So he ended up telling. I'm saying the gameplay is frightening right now. It's freaking me out. He ended up saying he was like no yo, and called my name. He said no, I gotta get out of here. He's like let's leave. I was like all right, just chill. Let me get the keys, and I gotta unlock the top door, and then not. The key isn't for the top lock of the door. It was for to get pretty much get us out of here. Yeah, right? No, it's not ready. And he was completely freaked out, man. Dude, this thing is insane. Tuna gin, Gorio, Abake, or Madeline. Well, I don't know the difference. Anyway, I think I'm gonna guess just because I kind of want to wrap this one up. I'm gonna go with the gin. Um, However, when we were getting ready to leave, we left, and this is what kind of creeped me out. Okay, so like when he left, I was there by myself. My mom was outside again, still talking to my dad. But they were talking about my brother, Pablo, I believe, about when he's gonna pretty much come and visit and all that stuff. And that's my closest brother right now. Um, and he, from my knowledge, from what I overheard, is that my brother didn't like being in the house because of what he always felt. And at a time in his life that he would, I don't want to put him on blast, so if he ever sees this, I apologize, but he would see things. Like he would see, you guys are aware of the movie The Sixth Sense, right? Where that kid sees like, people that had passed and stuff like that. Well, essentially it was kind of like that. Like he would see people that were not here anymore. And there was times where I would be in pain in certain areas like my leg or my shoulder or sometimes around my heart, like in that region. Bingo, baby. And so he he would tell me that what he sees is happening. And one time he freaked out so much that I wouldn't say he freaked out, but he panicked so much because I guess it was like whatever he saw was like hurting me. And in that moment, when like before he even said anything to me, like I just remember holding my chest, like I was like, "Ow, dude!" I was like, "I'm not gonna lie," like kind of like making like ugh, like a pain noise. I was like, "Something feels like it's hurting. Like I feel hurt, like I'm getting stabbed or poked in the heart or something." And then he started kind of crying, and then he grabbed me and pulled me away, and then all I heard him say was like, no, like, leave him alone, like, leave him alone. And I'm like, what the heck, dude? I was like, what's wrong? You want me to call mom? Anyway, this is years and years before, a year or two before what we are experiencing, and I'm telling you about Chendo and whatnot. So anyway, so when Chendo left, and that's what my mom and dad were talking about, him being over here and all that stuff. Might I say, like, yeah, revolving anything that you surround yourself with as far as energy is what most likely going to latch upon you or anything like that. As an adult, I get that now. Um, so ended up going home. I was inside by myself for now. I believe my sister Sonia, the one that took care of me in the first story, was going to come and also pretty much, I guess, babysit me while my mom would go and work. Um, so but not that night, the following, morning when my mom had to go and work and stuff. So when in the morning or throughout the night, my mom ended up, she came out, she came back in, and without the door, she told me, yeah, your brother was probably not going to come this week, maybe next weekend. And I'm like, oh, all right, well, I understand. I was like, but I really want to see him. I was very happy and stoked about it. This kind of does carry on a little bit, but yeah, I was telling her that that I was like, is there any way that I can go to my dad's? And she was like, yeah, you're more than welcome to. She was like, you just need to let us know if you want to go. I was like, yeah, sure. And anyway, um, so that night, after Chendo left, mom and myself were talking about me possibly visiting and whatnot. Um, yeah, I don't like it. I'm going back to amateur. This is absurd. Gee. It's crazy how I got that right, but I didn't get the amateur right. That's the thing. Um, should we do something big? Yeah, let's do Point Hope. Um, and then, that night my mom was like, okay, well, if this is what you think you guys saw and felt, you want me to call, a priest or something from the church so we can bless the house. And again, I wasn't making, like, pulling a mockery over, like, the church or anything like that. But I was like, if we're gonna do that, then this is a bad idea. I'm gonna put this back. I was like, then we might as well just tell your neighbor or tell the neighbors, you know what I mean? Like, we don't need to bother the church with this stuff, because then they're really gonna think that something's going on in the house, like if we're worshiping the demonic side and whatnot. Anyway, that night, my mom was getting ready to make dinner, a very fast dinner. And I was like, yeah, I'm down for whatever, Mom. My other brothers briefly came. Dude, light this up with everything, G. There we go. I don't want to turn anything on right now. And I was like, oh, duh. And I was like, hey, what's up? Like the simple stuff. I was like, hey, how you guys doing? Are you guys gonna stay? Nah, we actually gotta go out. We gotta do this. We gotta handle some stuff, and then we gotta go get you guys your stuff for tomorrow, for like some food and all that. I was like, okay. I was like, but it's pretty late. And they're like, no, it may seem that, but that's not the case. And I was like, okay. How do you open this? So there's no way. There you go. And so anyway, they left, and it was just me and my mom again. And everything seemed fine. Everything seemed chill and awesome. Like, we're watching a movie briefly, and then we ended up getting tired. I got tired, so we ended up going to, and I told her I did not want to sleep by myself. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I was like, is it okay if I lay with you in the room, or is that not okay? Were you gonna talk to my brothers, or are you gonna talk to my dad, or what seems to be the problem? And she said, no, that's fine. So I ended up, I'm looking for the bone, but she was telling me, no, you're okay. We'll just put on like some tea right here, that you doze off and whatever. My mom was also laying down. She was getting ready to go to sleep. And so as she was going to sleep, play some music. As she was getting ready to go to sleep, we were, she ended up falling asleep before myself. And obviously nothing out of the ordinary did happen in that manner of good 10 minutes, 15 minutes before I started falling asleep. So when I fell asleep, I was, it was like 11, almost midnight. And that's one of the first times too that I actually stayed up as a young child. And to me, that is staying up past like 10. Anyway, so as I was just me and my mom, the light was on, but it was like a little, I'm not gonna say like a night light. It was more of like it was like one of those lights that would like have like stars or something like that. Like it would emit like certain things. Anyway, I was just sitting there kind of waiting, like, because there's a specific one where it'll show the stars, and then it'll show a moon, and then it'll show like other planets like Saturn. I don't know what the other ones, but there was the blue one, I believe Pluto. Pluto? Is it Pluto? I don't know. I'm not an astronomer, so I don't know. I'm not very good at that stuff either. But I know it was a blue planet that always made the light or the room glow, like very bright blue, sky blue in a sense. And that particular time, that's when I would really like to like doze off, or like kind of, anyway, I was dozing off in that moment. So I ended up kind of going to sleep. This is a bad idea. I dozed off and I ended up waking up. I don't remember the time, but I do remember waking up to like a touch, I'm not gonna say like a touch, but like a force, like a small little, like if you were to get pushed, but like on my leg. And when I ended up feeling that, I looked to my left, which my mom was sleeping, and I kind of shook her a little bit, and she's like, like she was still halfway asleep herself. And she was like, Tom, she's like, what happened? What's wrong? I was like, is that you that kicked me? And she was like, I don't think so. She was like, why? What's the problem? And then she sat up and looked around. The TV was still on. The nightlight or whatever it is. I'm gonna call it nightlight because I really don't know what it is. But it pretty much, I guess, explained to you guys, it depicted like, stars and stuff like that. Or it showcased it. And it was still on, everything like that. Nothing seemed wrong. So my mom fell asleep right away. And I was just... Did I turn this shit? Anyway, so yeah, she ended up falling back to sleep, and I was just kind of like, I knew that it just didn't feel right, and I ended up just staying up a little more later than that. And in that time, my mom was telling me like, whatever you think you see is probably you just being tired. Whatever you think you feel right now, it's just not. It could be nothing. It could be something. But what I'm gonna need from you is for you to just pray. And I was like, I will. Honestly, that was my mistake because I did not. Um, but I ended up telling her that something just felt wrong, and I never really could explain it to her. But I do remember dozing off again. Only this time when I had woken back up. This is like this. See, the second time I woke up, I did end up checking the time. It was like 2:40, maybe 2:40 something. I'm not sure. And I know it's because, again, my mom always told me don't be up by 3, or if you stay awake, make sure you go to bed before 2, and stuff like that. And I'm like, huh, like what the hell? Anyway, so I ended up waking up. It was like 2:40. We had a clock right next to her head, or in her pretty much her dresser. And something, I'm telling you, like something, even now, as an adult, I still feel, also hear things at times, particularly my name. My name always being called, or a whisper, per se, like a simple hey, or never a tap, nothing like that no more. But it's more of like I can't explain it, but so that's what I had heard. I heard like a hey, and then I heard my name. And see, thinking about it now, it's kind of making my eyes watery. And I remember when I sat up, my mom was not there. I remember looking to my left, and my mom was not there. I ended up telling, or not telling, but telling myself like this, oh well, she's probably in the bathroom. So I was like, kind of like past the TV, which is right next to the door. The frame was open, the door. And like I ended up kind of saying, hey mom, are you there? I'm gonna turn this on. I was like, are you there? And I didn't get no response. So then I kind of like sat up on the edge of the bed, and I was telling myself like, okay, this is very unusual. Because one, my mom was right next to me, and if she would move, I would feel it. And that's another thing, I was a really light sleeper. Like I would feel everything and anything. I would hear the littlest things and wake up. So it would be very, unusual that, like I would not feel nothing, especially being right next to my mom, on the side of the bed. And so when I looked past the door frame again, I saw, or what I believe I saw, was a figure just standing there. Very small though, like probably maybe a little taller than me at the time. And dude, the breaker's on. It's like not cold anywhere. And I told, I kind of shouted. I was like, "Hey mom," I was like, "Are you there? Are you in the bathroom?" And no response, obviously. And I ended up walking back upstairs. I could. So I ended up going to the door frame, believing that just me waking up, maybe I was still drowsy and maybe it was nothing. And dude, it was so dark in there. And again, nothing. I got absolutely nothing. So walking up to the door, I'm wiping my eyes, and at that point too, my eyesight was. So it's in this room, bro. Come on, bro. Dude, I can't even see, bro. I cannot see. There has to be a light right here or something. And again, my eyesight wasn't the best, so I ended up kind of wiping my eyes and walking forward. And then again, in this particular hallway, you can go left, and when you look left, it's down where the door was at, the kitchen and the living room and all that stuff. And then you look to the right, there's two doors. There's pretty much would be like a spare bedroom, and then there would be the bathroom. The bathroom was open, but the lights were off. The bedroom, the extra bedroom, was completely shut, and there was obviously no light, no nothing. So I thought to myself, like, damn, maybe my mom probably went in there to get some sleep. Maybe I was just accidentally kicking her. I'm not sure. I was like, I'm gonna have to. I'll go check. I went, opened the door. Nobody, nothing. And again, I'm telling you, this just felt like a really bad dream, because like I ended up going there, nothing, and then I actually might need that back. I just need a light. I don't have a light. Alright. Yeah, I'll do that. So I ended up closing the door, but right before I even got to close it, I double checked inside the room. Obviously I didn't see anything, but I did hear my name be called. Not in that room, but from the other side. And when I looked, alright, so from where I would be standing would be the extra bedroom. And there was like nobody, obviously there's nobody there except me and my mom. And nobody was, from my knowledge, nobody was there. And I know for a fact that nobody was there, it was just me and my mom. So from across the way, again, my eyesight wasn't perfect, but it wasn't as bad as it is now. And dude, I could have sworn I turned these lights on. What the freak, man? Oh, that's light. Okay. So I ended up shouting. I was like, "Mom," again, and again, no response. So when I ended up, freeze framing, calling to her again, still nothing. Oh, what is your damage, bro? Alright, orb. What else can we get? Freezing temps, maybe? And so I started walking down, right? Like down the hallway, and like to me, like feeling fuck. Oh, it's my bad. Let me turn that. Where is the? I can't even drop it, but I can't see. I gotta get rid of something. It's gonna be this. Yeah, I'm getting rid of this, bro. It's not gonna drop below 1, I know that. Yeah, it's not gonna drop below 1. I'd rather have this with me. What's this new? I can't see, chat. Anyway, so I started getting scared, not gonna lie. And so I ended up kind of walking back into my mom's bedroom, grabbed a pencil. I think it was a pen or a pencil, inside the drawer, and I had it in my left hand. So I started walking back down the hall, and I was calling for my mom, and again, no response. So I started kind of walking forward, turned on the hallway light. It seemed fine, right? Until so I started approaching the living room after turning on the light, and it just seemed like somebody was. It just did. Obviously, I didn't see anybody, but it felt like someone or something was just like you would. I don't know how to explain it, man. It was like somebody was just there, but I couldn't see. Because the moment I walked in there, I felt very afraid, very frightened, very lost. Like if if I didn't belong there, if I have no idea where. Like it was weird for me because to me, like I said, I would not be left alone. You know what I mean? My mom won't do that to me. And I just remember when I was walking fully into the living room, I looked to the right, which would be the kitchen, and there again the lights were off. Everything seemed fine, like normal, like not out of the ordinary. And I just remember when I was going into the kitchen, I was like, man, maybe I'm tripping, but where is my mom? And then, sure enough, like I heard my mom, she called my name, but I heard it from down the hall, which I had already passed. And obviously, I already had opened the extra bedroom. There was nobody in there. The bathroom was open, but with the lights off. There was nobody in there. And obviously, in our room, I woke up and my mom wasn't in there. So I immediately I felt happy at first. So I started going, and I started going in a speed walking way, like, oh, there she is. And I was already spooked, so I started try to hurry up to get to her. And when I did, in that room, there was nobody in there. And that's when I started kind of tearing up, like, what the hell? And who just called my name? And this wasn't an ordinary, hey, like a whisper, or like my name being called in a whispered tone. No, this is full on, like my mom called me. And so when I went in the room, I'm be real, I didn't cry like all crazy, but I started to cry, closed the door, locked it, and then I shut the blinds, which were briefly open, and the blinds were open, not the window. And I sat on the bed, and I was sitting in the corner and started to pretty much slowly go to sleep. Like I was dozing off, kind of crying myself to sleep. I fell asleep. Let's just say I fell asleep, right? I woke up with my mom back next to me again, like on the bed, and no, like I didn't wake up. I was woken up. So again, that particular part right there was like a dream. But then my mom did tell me that she did get up and she did go outside because the neighbor with our neighbor, who was at the time Chandler's mother. Like we said, we lived around them for numerous years, and she called my mom and told me that pretty much like, hey, I have something I have to tell you. And when Something's funny. Something's funny. Dude, I'm just gonna get out of here. I don't know. But so it turned out that yeah, like my mom was that whatever I experienced was real. My mom was gone, but outside the front. And again, I don't know how I didn't hear it. The doors were locked, and I'm not talking about like the bottom part of the door. No, it was the top lock as well. I don't know how that's even possible because it was like a chain. So I don't know how would my mom be able to lock both latches on each from the inside out. And it just does that, and that, unless she opened the window and climbed out or something. But again, very doubtful because our windows had bars. That she'd be like, it's impossible. You know what I mean? So, and then and my mom would tell me most things, not everything, but most things. She ended up telling me that, yeah, that they had called her over for, sorry, they would call her over just so that they can kind of tell her like the deeds of it, like the details of what she would feel. And essentially what she felt was just something dark, dude. And she told me that this wasn't just one, quote unquote, one spirit, one ghost, or whatever the term that they use. This was multiple. And you see, the thing is that when I found that thing on my leg, like that push or whatever, that force, I didn't know until, sorry, that sounds calm now, but I didn't know until I checked. Dude, like, my leg was like scratched by two little marks. And that morning my mom had asked me like, my mom had asked me, like, how'd you get that? And then I explained to her, like, you know, well, this is what happened. I believe this is where I got hit during the I don't know what the hell is that. Home fudge. You know, and where are you? Are you here? Are you friendly? How'd you die? Can you speak to me? Respond to me. Love me. No, I'm just kidding. So I was, like I was telling my mom, like, pretty much how I got those, I think the scratch, that's what it was. But I was telling her, I think this is how I got them. Like, you know, this is where I got hit, or it felt like I got hit. And then I was telling her that, you know, like, when I had woken up and I went through the hall, I heard somebody call my name. Well, before I even told my mom that, the lady, Kendall's mother, I forgot her name. Like, I completely forgot it. Oh my god. Task rejected. Okay. And pretty much, where did that come from? That makes no sense. The MF is on it. Anyway, so before I even told my mother about that, she said that, like, that the spirit that's inside our house, quote unquote, was trying to essentially mimic what my mother would sound like, so that it would make me feel at ease, so that I would, how do you say, to feel pretty much calm and collected, and then go over and something to happen. You see, the thing is that when I went back into that room and pretty much cried myself to sleep, I guess my mom said that she was in that room, but the thing is, I don't know how to explain it, man, but it was more like just me being there still, but like I was sleepwalking. I don't sleepwalk. Believe it or not, my sister Sonia had a knack for that, and I cannot see. Maybe I should put it over here. And the thing is that I've never experienced sleepwalking. However, as I stated, my sister Sonia did numerous amount of times. I'm just trying to get a better feel of all this. And it turned out not that it wasn't nothing. It wasn't very insane. However, she experienced things that I can't really explain either. There was times where she woke up outside. There was times where, like I would wake up and I would see her just stand. You guys are aware of like what paranormal activity, there's activity, kind of like that. The only thing is she wasn't staring directly at us. She'd be either facing a wall, or she'd be like at a door, but never opening it. Oh, fudge, man. Anyway, it never got that serious. But she was always in an area where it was just odd. So for me, it was more of like, I don't know what it was that was technically wrong with her, other than just having a sleepwalking me. It was more of taps and feelings and my name being, my name being called out to me. And we ended up moving, believe it or not. I'm not gonna say, we had the money to move, we didn't, but we had to go and stay with someone for a short period of time. And the reason why was because we were kind of told to. Like, if we were to stay any longer, my mom had told Chella's mom, Anna, that's her name, sorry. But that's Anna. My mom told Anna that my story wouldn't happen pretty much, like what I found, what I got scratched with. And the 2 scratches that were on my foot, on my leg, were like, how you say, they were both, again, I don't know how to explain this, man. I'm gonna go into a lot of sponge. This is probably really stupid of me, but I need to hurry up and get the third evidence so I can get out of here. So she pretty much told me that, well, not me, she told my mother, and then my mother showed her and told her that, that I was scratched. And a lot of the times when you were touched in that manner or affected or something like that, she said that you would either be marked, or, which I was, and I'll explain that more too. Because again, this kind of correlates with the final story that I'll be telling in a bit, like in about 10 minutes. I was supposed to be done with this like 40 minutes ago, man. Anyway, my boys are totally gonna be bad at me. They're like, oh, you sort of know. Yeah, no, it's definitely almost 2 hours. So, hey, this is definitely a long stream, so congratulations, y'all. All you gods and goddesses of the channel, I love y'all. But anyway, to end this off, technically, we were told to move, and the reason being is because a lot of the times it wasn't good. It wasn't good at all, and we were told to not be in there while oh, yeah, I'm dead. Yep, died. Alma died. Well, at least he died. So to conclude the story, it was more, we just couldn't be there no more. It wasn't safe. And I'm not saying safe like that. It was just, too many things that could have happened. It thankfully didn't. It's funny how I got the last evidence and died immediately. Well, once that happens, just gotta hurry up. Alright, and for the final one, I kind of wanna. But to end that story, like I said, we ended up moving, and even to this day, the mark or whatever, the quote unquote, as what they said, is not there per se, because it's obviously went away, those two scratch marks. But those two scratch marks, like, made a connection where it is two lines, but those two lines were kind of together, and it kind of made like a cross or an X per se. Personally, I'd never seen it. To me, it just looks like an X. To my mother and her friend Anna, it was more than just that. I still don't know. But yeah, that's the end of that one. Again, wasn't. I don't know. It wasn't that bad. But like I said, it's the one that when I was younger is the one that I remember very most, like the most. And I'll explain it right now and just get everything set up, and then we'll continue. And then once we reach the 2 hour mark, this should be like about like a 9 minute story, probably less. Yeah, I should be done ASAP with it, and then I'm gonna end the stream there. But I did want to save this in particularly for last because this one, like for a lot of you guys that may not believe it, let me just say this: that it was essentially a story of when I went to Mexico. And yes, I was a little dude. So, but the thing is, most people don't remember things when they're younger. I do. I remember a lot. And let's just start her up. Am I missing anything? Alaya, UV light, incense, lighter, incense, photo camera, salt, medication, sound recorder. Alright. Okay. Give me 1 second. 1 second.
Check the equipment and get set up before investigating. There's been no reports of violence or sightings, but please remain careful.
Okay, so we are back. Sorry. But, okay, so to start this one off, I was about 5 or 6 years old. I want to say 6. because I was already enrolled in kindergarten at the time. However, I was only in school I think like a week or two before we made this trip to Mexico, and the reason being is because it's again a family friend, and mind you, before we get into this, the place we were going, the people we were going to be around, had experience with I'm not gonna say hauntings per se, but let me turn this lights on. Is that not we, but they experienced things before in the past, which is what prompted them to go back to Mexico. But the thing is, it's more like it's hard to explain, man. Like if you know, then you know. Let's see the tarot cards here. No. Alright. So, again, the people that we were going to the house that we were going to was Tammy. That was the name of the mother. What the? Oh, yeah. It was the mother. She had experience with, again, her herself, experiencing such as black magic. Me, again, a little child, would go there, you know, well, at the time, they were in the state that we were in, and things didn't, you know what I mean, they didn't seem like they were unhappy or scared or frightened like that. And I think as a parent, that's what you probably really want, even if things are bad. So anyway, something had happened, which made us, or my mother and my mother, to go over there and pretty much to kind of say her condolences and you know, show her support for them. Again, I was a kid, so I didn't know about this until years later. They had lost someone in the family, and my mom wanted it. Something was being thrown, but what? What was it? Object thrown. In this room. Yep. Anyway, like, alright, it's in this room. That's all I need to know. But anyway, so we ended up, my mom got a call that morning, and I remember I was getting ready for school. But my mom said, no, son. Oh, you're not gonna go to school today. I'm gonna read this right here. What? I'll leave it right there. And she was like, no, you're not gonna go to school today, as much as I want you to go, because you just started. You're gonna go with me. Is that okay, or do you want to stay with your father for the week? And I was like, no, I'll go with you. And mind you, my mom, again, dude, everything is just being tossed around, chat. Yeah, I'm gonna open this crap. Get this guy right here. I'm gonna leave that there. I'll be back. I can't even see, bro. I should be taking. Where's the lights at, yo? There we go. But anyway, so we're on our way to Mexico. That was the short end of the story right there. See you later. No, I'm just kidding. So we ended up getting on the Greyhound. Ended up driving out there to Mexico, or riding out there. I'm taking this with me. It's all now. This dots. And alright. Actually, I'm gonna keep dots here for now. And I'm gonna take salt. So I'm gonna stand up for this because my legs are hurting. So we ended up going to Mexico, right? And so they pretty much allowed us to stay in their house. And over there, I don't know how certain areas are, but yeah, I think that the whole. And maybe I should just turn this off and leave this light on. Huh? Just auto wave, no UV, so we can cross UV out. We're gonna cross race out. Let's see. So as we arrived, my mother said her piece, and was there for more support and whatnot. What is that? Blue. And it's like there's no UV, dude. I don't see nothing. I don't even know what's being thrown. Anyway, I kind of want to just chill in this room. Oh, thought that was UV. So nothing. From my knowledge, over there, they had like 6 kids, at least in that house, not including me, so I'll be the 7th. It all literally started the very first night that I was there, and let me just drink this Kool-Aid real fast. My throat is dry. So, the very first night that we were there, I ended up, the first night that we were there, I was there, they were showing us our room, and inside the house, dude, what was that, bro? I'll leave this right there. I think it's gonna fall off right now. This thing's like broken, like the thing goes off for like 2 seconds and then it just turns off. I'm gonna leave it right here. And the UV does not work, so I'm gonna leave this right there. And I'll be back for more. So they were showing us our room, and pretty much my mom had her own room. I had a room sharing with one of the kids. 2 of the kids technically. But those kids were like really loud and they didn't really go to sleep until like late. And to me, I was so used to the school schedule, so I had to go to bed like around 9, 8 or 9. And I remember the first night though that we were there, and that we were there for 5 days. Ended up leaving on a Saturday, arrived on a Monday. Yeah, it was Monday because I was supposed to get ready to go to school, and I didn't end up going. We ended up going on the Greyhound. So when we arrived, they showed us the rooms. I ended up bunking with the other kids, and they again did not want to sleep. They didn't have a schedule, to my knowledge. But dots and spirit box. Yeah, we'll go spirit box. So that first night, I couldn't sleep until like 10. Again, as a kid, to me, that was like the latest I stayed up. Immediately, though, like, once I started, hello, are you here? Are you friendly? How'd you die? How old are you? Are you friendly? Speaking to the spirit box. Talk. Alright. Can I, like, put this somewhere like there? Okay. See, I hear some, but I don't see nothing, yo. And then again, what the where's my camera? Alright, well, I got a spirit box. What is that? No doubts. Man, you're in this vicinity, but I don't see you, man. Elderly, what? I'm freaking out, man. So they ended up, they had like a curfew though, even though they didn't have a schedule. Alright, so that night nothing really occurred other than just, you know, everybody being shown to the rooms where they're gonna sleep. What they really do around there in Mexico, in that part at least. I don't even remember what part it was, but it was the type. And again, I love Mexico, but even though I experienced what I experienced, it was too. It was where's there it is. Let's see, where's this amount of the thermometer? They pretty much, you know, what they do around that area. I love being in Mexico, despite what I had experienced, saw, and heard. I'm not asking who killed you. Okay, spirit box. What victim you are. But yeah. So to that point and to that degree, you know, they think he's talking inside.
Left hurt.
And I'm gonna hold this.
Elderly.
Very talkative though, this person. But it's not leaving any. See, elderly this, elderly that. I don't know what that means, baby. So anyway, as I was saying though, you know, I loved Mexico being out there. I did have fun out there. I was spooked. I did see some shizzle. And we'll get into that in the second day.
Elderly victim.
That's no ghost or no ghost. We need ghost writing. I'm not getting EMF 5. What was that? I see. I didn't even see the thing comes and goes. Like it doesn't stay on the meter. Like what the... Right. Anyway, so the first night nothing really occurred. And again, Mexico was beautiful. It was just, it was frightening for me as a child. Okay, so the second night, my mom and Tammy, they went out to get, I believe, some drinks, knowing that now it was definitely some drinks or something like that, you know, to help her with her grieving and so on. Yeah, I'm not gonna get tense either, dude. I'm just gonna mark that off, but I'll be back. And I just remembered when that night came, it was frightening to me, man. Because, okay, before even the night came, it was more, I didn't see the door, yo. Even before the night had came, it was like people, everybody knew each other, man. Everybody said hey, everybody said, you know, and even I, as a kid, I went with my mom to go pick up some. But alright, so one night too. Before the night had ended, it started like before the night technically ended. Before this, was it the sun? I can't speak right now. I'm kind of tired, guys. But and I'm never on this long as far as streaming. We're 2 hours and 9 minutes in. About to be 2:10. So before the sun was setting, there you go. We ended up going to get freshly made tortillas, and man, let me tell you, I don't know what it was about Mexico, but they were so good. Like, even now as an adult, I tasted the flour ones and I tasted the corn ones. I believe that's what it is, like corn tortillas or something like that. And anyway, and normally I don't like tortillas. Even now, I'm very picky on that forefront. But it was incredible. It was amazing. Seeing them being freshly made, them being packaged in like
Elderly
bags, and not in bags like plastic bags, like paper bags. Like you get a piece of brown paper, fold it up, wrap it, and then tie it with a specific thread. And to me, it was kind of fascinating as a kid seeing that stuff. But anyway, so we're walking back, and again, in where we were staying, we had bars and stuff outside the windows and whatnot. All right, and this is ooh, see where's that thing at? Three. This bro. I need to write in the book or something, man. So what am I missing? EMF. I'm gonna cross that off. That ain't coming up. Region 10. I should cross that off as well. Ghost Rider, Ghost Orb. Didn't see Ghost Orb. Crossing that off. And that would leave me with a Deogen. Uh, he hasn't hunted like at all, so it would probably be what? What's the shy one? Say? See, man, like I'm here. Anyway, so during that night, does not leave like on anything else. And I'm talking a lot, so this is not like something that, you know what I mean? Anyway, so that night, like I said, my mom ended up going to, again with Tammy out, and in that night I was pretty much supervised by one of the sons who was, I believe, like 19 or 20. His name was Josh. That I still know to this day. Anyway, he was watching and telling me some stories, good ones, very good stories. And then, like, out of nowhere, he said, "Do you want to hear something scary?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." I mean, not really, but yeah. I mean, if you let me stay up until my mom gets back. And he was like, "Yeah, of course, man." He's like, "I'm not, them, they have to go to sleep. You're fine, but I don't recommend you being up past 11." And I was like, "How come?" I was like, "Is that too late for a kid to be up?" He was like, "No, it's just things start getting weird. And to be honest, you don't want to be up past that hour." And I was like, "Okay."
elderly victim.
And even so, these guys had like these glass dolls hanging on like on the ceiling, where they're technically like they're literally hanging like on the swing, like they're swinging on the swing set and whatnot. And so that night we were watching some movie about some mailman, dude. It's so weird, dude, but I wasn't even paying attention to the movie because I was more focused on those damn dolls. They were made out of glass. There was like at least 12 of them hanging up all throughout the ceilings, from the doorway to the kitchen, from the kitchen to the rooms, bro. And there was like, that's nothing. There is no
Elderly
air conditioning. Like there was nothing in that house that could make these guys move. Okay, there was no fan. There was no automated AC unit or anything, dude.
elderly
No. The fuck was that, bro? Oh, hey, yo, mm-hmm. Anyway, so when he was telling me the story, he was like, "All right, give me one." You see this? What the hell, bro? All right. Anyway, so there was like no way that these guys can make these guys move, okay? And I remember he told me, he was like, "All right, well, I'm gonna get some sleep. I'll sleep right here. If you ready, let's go. We're done, boys. Ghost riding. Let's get the hell out of here." Anyway, so he ended up going. What is it? It is a Deogen. That's crazy. So anyway, he was telling me, "I'm gonna get ready to get some sleep. I'll stay out here with you if you really want me to, or if you want, I'll just leave my door open. If you need anything." And I was like, "No, I'll probably go lay down." He's like, "All right, well, if you're gonna go lay down, I'll wait until you pass out, and then I'll get some sleep." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I ended up doing that. I'm probably gonna play another one. And he was telling me, he's like, "Whatever you do, just don't look outside, don't turn the lights on, this, and that," and telling me kind of the rules. And I was like, "Sure. I mean, I won't. I don't know why I'll turn the light on. It's nighttime." And then he said, "You can sleep in your mom's room where your mom is sleeping." And I was like, "All right, cool." So I did. I was going to, and then he ended up bringing the TV inside there so I wouldn't go out and whatnot. And at that time too, I was drinking heavily like on water, Kool-Aid, and juices and stuff like that. So, dude, I had to. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I had to pee so bad. I had to urinate everywhere. So the night it was like maybe a little bit past 11, dude, and I just remember hearing Josh. He was like, "Hey," he was like, "Are you alright over there?" And I was like, "Yeah, why? What's wrong?" And he was like, "That wasn't you." He's like, "You're not playing with nothing?" And I was like, "No." I was like, "I'm in the room." I was like, "Why?" And he was like, "Uh, no, you're good, man. I just thought I heard you coming out and stuff." I was like, "No, I'm just watching TV, dude." And he was like, "All right, but try to get some sleep in a bit, all right?" And he's like, "Cause I'm getting kind of tired, and I kind of want you to get some sleep too." I was like, "All right, whatever." So as I was getting ready to go to bed, I ended up getting up because I felt a little weird here, all right? So I was like, "I'm gonna shut the door, okay?" So I got up and I shut my mom's door, and I opened the door and I said, "Hey, Josh," I was like, "I'm gonna get some sleep, okay?" I said, "You can go ahead and go to bed." So I shut the door, and then he came, knocked real fast. It kind of scared me. I'm not gonna lie. And I was like, "Huh," and I opened the door. I said, "What happened?" And he was like, "No, you're alright." He's like, "You don't need anything like a snack or something before you go to bed?" I was like, "No, I'm okay." I was like, "I'm just thank you for bringing the TV in. I'm gonna go to bed after that." And he was like, "All right, cool. But if you need anything, I'll be right next door, okay?" He was like, and then like he was like, "But dude, just lock your door, okay?" And I was like, "What? Lock my door?" I was like, "Why?" He said, "Just lock your door." And I was like, "All right." He's like, "Well, that's what we have to do around here. You never really know." And I was like, "Okay." So I ended up locking my door, right? And then I turned off the light because, like he said, not to have any lights on. And there was no fan, like I told you. So it wasn't getting hot, like drenched in sweat. I was more like getting just, okay, this is, you know what I mean? You can feel that there's no airflow, like there's no, I'm, like it felt humid. So I was like thinking to myself, like, okay, we have bars. And as a kid, I'm thinking all rational as I can be as a kid. Like, okay, if I open the door or the window a little bit, maybe that'll help. So um, I ended up turning on the light like an idiot. And then like right before I turned it back off, I was like, oh crap, I set the light. So I turned the light back off, and I ended up hearing what sounded like, what is it, hoofs, like to a horse, like somebody was riding a horse, and I was like, I mark my dad words, bro, or guys, girls, or whatever. I ended up hearing like what some would sound like if they were riding a horse, right? And I'm like, what the heck? And again, me as a kid, even as a kid, and now I love animals. Like there's just something about them that comes off therapeutic to me as an adult. And as a kid, I just loved them. So I was like, what the heck? So I started moving the blinds a little bit, and the TV was still on. That's one of the biggest mess ups that I think I did. So when I moved the blind a little bit, just enough where I can poke my big head and look, I ended up seeing somebody like, and then where was that? There was only like two different lights. One street light that's directly at the corner where we were at, and there was one maybe eh, far. And I guess I don't know how far. I can't give you an estimate on that, but it was far enough to know that we were not by any other house. Okay, we were not by any other house, any other store for about a good half a mile, maybe, dude. And so when I opened it, I seen somebody like walking. Okay, walking, and I don't know why or how, or obviously the damn TV. I think that's what it was. The moment I opened it, it was probably bright enough for someone to see on the outside. This person turned around like immediately right when I opened that crap. And oh, dude, telling this story is not great because like I can tell right now, like I'm getting teary eyed. And and I was a kid, okay. So when I seen that dude turn around, I immediately shut the blind again. I went to the TV, turned it off. I unlocked my door, opened it, and I was like, Josh. And then he immediately came running out of the door. He was like, "What happened? What happened? Are you alright?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "But I was getting hot, not hot, but it was like getting sticky air." That's what I told him. And then I told him, "Hey, can you check if if I can open the blinds or a little bit or something like that?" And he was like, yeah, man." He was like, "You, no, don't do that." And I was like, "Why not?" And he was like, "Because that's not good." Because I wouldn't recommend doing that because one, at nighttime like this, it's not safe. Two, you should be sleeping right now. And I'm like, okay, but you said it was okay. And then he was like, yeah, I know, but you can't just be looking outside and expect things to be okay, man. He was like, for example, he's like, what if What if that guy saw you or something? Or what if someone saw you? And then I thought, I was like, that's the thing. All the way over there at the other end of the street light, there was somebody that was walking, right? And I was like, and I just peeked my head because I was thinking about opening the window, and he was like, dude, you're not supposed to do that. And I'm like, well, I didn't know. And he was like, I told you. Long story short, he was like, don't do that. All right, I'm not mad at you, but dude, you can't be doing that, bro. It's not safe. It's not. If people see a light on, they're gonna assume that you're the only one awake. Right? It can lead to something bad. And I was like, what the heck? I was like, all right, well, I'll just turn the TV off. And he was like, no, yeah, go ahead. He's like, you can turn it off if you want. Leave the door open. If you want, I'll even get a chair and I'll go sit in the living room until you go to sleep. And I was like, dude, I was like, no, you don't gotta do that. When's my mom coming back? That's what I asked. And he was like, that's the thing, I don't know. Because I do not know. And he said my name. He was like, but you gotta not be opening the blinds. It's not safe. And then I told him, are there horses around here? Like, do the people ride horses and whatnot? And he was like, they do, but not around here. And he was like, and there's some stories that I'll probably have to tell you, but when you're a little older. And I was like, okay. So I ended up telling them that I heard like horses like galloping in a sense. And then he was like, it's nothing, dude. Just try to get some sleep. I did. I ended up getting some sleep. Fell asleep, woke up. My mom was right next to me. Um, Josh was still in the living room, but sleeping on a chair, a sofa chair. And nothing really occurred that night. But then the next day, and again, as the night was going down, my mom, Tammy, and a couple of her friends who she hadn't seen in a long time, they went out. Okay, and when they did, I found out what they were doing later on. It was just again dark shit, like dark stuff, man. What time is it? I can curse now. Yeah, it's 11:23. It was just dark shit, okay, to the point where no person or human should really even want to know about it. When I say that, I mean in the sense of like magic. Like when I say magic, I'm not talking about spells and shit. Anything involving black magic, as I said in the previous one, is never good. So they left. That's what they were doing. My mom used to dabble in it briefly, not as much as the other stories that I told you or how some people do it now. No voodooism and none of that shit. She was just more there for observation and cleansing. So that being said, back to this story. That night, on the night 4, because nothing happened on the third night, I fell asleep early just to make sure that nothing did happen or that I didn't want to hear anything, didn't want to see anything. On the fourth night, this is where most of it all happened. Okay, so on the on the fourth night, same shit. It was just me, Josh, and then his two little younger siblings. Those two younger siblings were playing with my toys that I had brought uh, from home. They ended up taking those toys and playing with them in the room, okay, until they fell asleep. It was just me and Josh. We're watching. Don't even know. I don't really care. I just remember he was watching TV and I was sitting next to him while watching it, but not really paying attention. I was thinking to myself, like, where's my mom? I want her home. I kind of want to go back home. I don't want to be here in this, and here no more. It's scary. It's dark. It's hot. These damn dolls just freak me out. Well, these dolls, apparently, from what he told me, are like angels, essentially like uh, for safekeeping. Not even for safekeeping. What's the word I'm looking for? Basically, to be rid of bad energy. um, Anyway, so he told me, let's hear him fucking start something, okay? Let's start here. And then I don't care, we're gonna start with something, something and nothing, it don't matter. He ended up telling me that, hey, today I'm gonna need you to go to sleep early, okay? And I'm like, oh, you know what, you don't gotta tell me, yeah, I'll do that. And he was like, are you hungry? You want dinner or something? You want, I can go and get something right now before it gets dark. And this is like around 8, 7, and it was already getting dark. So I'm like, there's no point in going. It's gonna be dark, and then you're gonna probably get lost, and we're gonna be here by ourselves. And like we said before, it's not safe, right? It's not safe at all. So, and he was like, no, you'll be fine. Trust me. Like, well, I'm gonna get you guys something to eat. This is no more than like maybe 100 feet away. And I was like, okay. He was like, but I'm gonna lock the door, and you're gonna lock the top hatch, okay? And I was like, okay, but why? Like, this is all wrong. You don't leave a kid by themselves, okay? That's just point blank. You do not do that shit. And he was wrong for that. Let me just say that he was completely wrong for that, okay? So it was me, the two siblings, and there was another sibling in the back. But I don't even want to talk about that sibling because he wasn't well. When I say that, I mean he was pretty much, he was an adult, but he was incapable of doing things himself. You know what I mean? And I'm not being rude about it or anything like that. He was fun to talk to still, but it was something that really didn't. It was frightening. Okay, you don't leave a child by themselves. All right. So he left. He went and go and get something. I locked the hatch. This is like 8 something. The time was ticking fairly slow, man. I was like, I was losing my crap, man. Like, yeah, it was me and those 2 other kids, and we're watching a movie, and we started talking and playing. And then one of those kids, same my age, I think actually you're a year older than me. So 7 years old that kid was, and he told me, he's like, dude, have you heard anything yet? Have you seen anything yet? I was like, what? What are you talking about? And then he told me some stories that what he had heard, and what he heard were people screaming. That quote unquote, that's what he said. And I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, if people are playing tag outside? Like, what was the problem? And he was like, no. Like, somebody was getting hurt. And I was like, and what happened? What did you do? And he was like, I'm told not to do nothing. We had to stay inside. Like, once it reaches 7 or 8, we had to stay inside. And I was like, what the hell, man? And anyway, so I was asking him, I was like, all right, how long do you think your brother's gonna be? And he was like, no, he just went over there to get us some food, some burritos and stuff like that. And I'm like, dude, that was like 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago. And he said it's no more than like 100 feet away. How you gonna go? What the fuck, bro? I'm sorry for cursing y'all, but that scared the shit out of me, yo. I barely even walked in there. What the EMF 5, yo? Wow. No, that was strange. Okay, so he ended up leaving, right? And then when he ended up leaving, he didn't come back until I don't want to be here. I just want to end the game already, man. So I'm gonna hear him tell the story. Do or don't die. So that after he left, he ended up telling me. Okay, anyway, irrelevant. Him telling and talking to me. He ended up not coming back, right? Well, no. He came. That's not wrong. He came back, but he didn't come back fast enough. Okay. So when he left, he left us by ourselves, and it's not his fault because he was at the end of the day he was trying to look for something for us to eat. Okay. He came back. He did come back with food, but irrelevant right now. So what had happened was that he ended up telling us that. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. So the thing is, he ended up walking into the darkness, essentially, because when we ended up, dude, I was like right in the doorway, bro. He gets in this room. I'll check that. Was that the mirror? That is the mirror. Kitchen? Okay, so he ended up leaving, right? And then he pretty much told us that just to be not to mess around or do anything along those lines. Of like go outside, open the door for anybody. He has the keys and all that stuff, even for the top latch, which is crazy to me. So he ended up telling us just stay inside, don't mess around, go ahead and watch TV, whatever, don't matter. Just do not go outside, do not open the door for nobody, do not, the do's and don'ts. So then he came up, anyway, he's not even in the store right now. So he ended up, the kid, I don't know his damn name, the kid ended up telling us, he was like, hey, don't, fuck, I'm getting scared now. But he pretty much said not to really engage with anybody outside of the house. So anyway, these kids were getting tired. It was like 8:40. Again, mind you, this guy was gone for like maybe an hour. For someone that apparently went like about 100 feet away from the house. This guy said he would be back. He was not back. All right, it was, an hour had passed. It was just me and those kids. Dude, what kind of fucking place is this? So it was just me and those kids. The kids ended up passing out on the couch. And then I was just got kind of spooked, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go away to my room. Not to be mean, but like, yeah, they've been here before, and they apparently went through this before, so I'm gonna get the hell back into my room. Went into my mom's room, right? And dude, like the moment I like was gonna shut the door, I didn't. Yep, we dead as hell. How was that about? Huh? I didn't like that, yo. It said a fridge, bro. There's no fridge in here. This is the fridge. It's in here. Alright, so anyway, I'm gonna set this shit down. Okay, so when I went into the room and I didn't close the door, right? Because I didn't want to close the door and feel, you know what I mean? I didn't want to leave the kids by themselves. Even though I was a kid myself, younger than a 7-year-old. I shut the door, left the TV light on, and then once again, I ended up hearing galloping of horses. So then I ended up turning off the TV because I didn't want people to know that we were here alone. So when I turned the TV off, the kid started like screaming, not like in terror or whatever, but more of like, see what I mean? See, can't see some bullshit, I tell you. And wait, hey, what is that? Is that? Try not to talk, because it will hear me. It's gone. Oh, where the fuck is the thing at? That's not it. Fuck. Alright. Anyway. I already got 5. Help. Anyway, I'm trying to tell a damn story, go shut the fuck up. Alright, I ended up hearing the kid scream, and then, oh god. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Alright, hold on, give me a sec, I gotta boot. So I ended up hearing the kid like kind of cry. That's when I say he cried, and I kind of went walking over. I was scared, okay? I didn't go running to his fucking rescue. I was a kid myself, so I ended up walking like out partially out of my door, and what else I knew? What else I knew? This. Oh fuck. What did I bring? Oh fuck. Oh man. I'm leaving that. Doing salt. Gotta hurry up and end this, and I gotta go reunite with my boys. I'm freaking out here. So anyway, the kid was crying, right? And I like this. Say this is the room. I was like this, literally right here. I didn't want to go all the way out. I was like this, hearing little sucker cry over there. Literally kind of something like this, but it was more like this way. So I was walking out, I was like that. Anyway, and I still heard him, so I started peeking a little bit, and I looked to my right, and the kid. Let me just say, because this obviously isn't the same format. Let's say the living room's right here, and the kid was like just laying right here on the couch. The other kid was crying over. Dude, this dude's pissed. So as I was saying, shut the hell up. So the kid was crying, right? It's not a wraith. Bouncing around. I didn't see UV, but that doesn't eliminate his ass. Anyway, I'm throwing the shit. So, 10. So anyway, the kid was crying, right? And I walked up to him and I kind of shook him awake, and he was like, throwing shit at me, man. Stop fucking playing. Anyway, dude, I'm trying to hear him tell his damn story, but he keeps interrupting me, and if I keep talking, he's gonna come and get me, you understand? So, anyway, dude, this guy must not want to hear me talk. But, so, the kid was crying, I woke him up, right? And then I ended up waking up this other brother, I was like, hey, you guys go in the room, and then I asked the kid, the 7-year-old, because he was the one that was crying, and I was like, what's wrong? Why are you crying? Are you okay? You had a bad dream? I'm just gonna say it's the twins. Anyway, so he was like, no, I had a bad dream. So they ended up going to the room, okay? And then, like, I heard, what? Really, bro? Shut up. That's what he's telling me. So anyway, I ended up hearing, again, those horses, like horse passing, like galloping, and then when I kind of got scared because of that, because it sounded like it was right outside the door, I ended up heading to one of the kids' room, and what it sounded like to me once I headed to the kids' room, because I didn't want to be by myself, I heard, like, I gotta check that, dude. Who the hell is opening shit? Yep, UV. Kind of handprint is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, nothing out of the ordinary. Shazam. So, no, I guess I'm gonna stab Gorio. This one's gonna blow out the camera, did he not? I'm gonna guess. Fuck that. Oh shit. Alright, so anyway, the kid, I'm gonna just chill in here, okay? Hopefully you guys don't mind this. So, do I have a camera set up in there? I do. Wow, that's good imagery. So we're gonna watch this for a second while I tell the story. So, finish the story, sorry. So anyway, the kid was telling me that before he went to bed, he's like, no, just make sure you shut our door and whatever and whatnot. I was like, okay. I did not do that. I didn't do that because I was scared. I didn't do that because I needed to make sure that the main door wasn't being, opened by Josh, or if he's arriving, he knocks on the door or something like that. So anyway, I had the door open and I was sitting like at the edge of, like, let me just put this, like, I was sitting, like, say if this is the door right here, I was sitting like right here, watching it from this angle, like pretty much this way. And that's the hallway, by the way. Like, coming this way, that would be the hallway. The main door would be like somewhere further down. That's what I was watching, sitting like right here. Anyway, so when I was looking down the hall, I began to hear, again, the galloping, but this time by the window of the room that we were in. So I went and looked left. I didn't peek this time because there were lights on. There were like little night lights that they had. Alrighty. So anyway, when that happened, I heard like chains, like like I don't know how, like chains moving, like, and I just remember, like, when I heard that, I was like, what the freak? And then I just immediately started hearing boom, doom, 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 like heavy foots. If not foots, maybe a bang on the door or a wall or something along those lines. So I got scared and I shut the door, and I remember I locked it. I ended up locking the door, right? And I ended up hearing those shackles get closer and closer and closer. To me, again, as a kid, I was already in panic mode. I was scared. I started crying. Not all like hysterical, like, ah, ah, ah. I was tearing up, crying, holding the door, locked it, and then again, every damn door for some reason had two different locks. One of the main one, which is on the doorknob, and then one above, like an extra. I don't know. I said like an extra one on the top, like a couple feet above. So as I was there sitting there waiting, hoping that it may for God knows reason why I was hoping that it was Josh or someone else like my mother or Tammy or the other people that had lived there or that do live there. The moment the shack like the chains got closer to the doorstep, it immediately stopped. So my dumbass th- thought it was wise to be like, Josh, is that you? So I ended up saying, Josh, is is that you? And boom, one just loud boom on the door. Immediately woke the kids back up, started crying and screaming. I got scared because I didn't know what to do. I was 6 years old. I'm gonna say six, almost seven, because it was around like September or whatever. I was gonna turn 7, and I got those two kids crying in the back. And then I realized that, oh damn, there's there's an older brother in the next room with the door unlocked, but he is completely incapable of fending for himself and whatever, whatnot, man. He he was handicapped, okay, and like I said, he was a cool guy. Couldn't speak, he didn't have language, if he, anything like that. He just spoke in tones, and all I heard him in the background, like make. I don't want to make the noise because then people might interpret that I'm making fun of him, so I'm not gonna make those noises. But I heard him, and then I was like, and I looked at those two kids crying. I was like, shh, 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 be quiet, be quiet. I was like, stop, stop, stop. I was like, it's probably scaring him, or maybe it's nobody. Maybe it's we left the movie on, and maybe it's loud and playing for whatever reason. And then uh, the 7-year-old was telling me, like, no, dude, he's like, this is why we have to have our doors locked. This is why we have to, we have the dolls hanging up on each of the ceilings and everything. And I was like, dude, they don't work apparently. I was like, because apparently they're supposed to be good, right? They're supposed to be good energy and eliminate all the bad. And then I was like, freaking out, crying, telling him like, what are we supposed to do? There's bars on the window. We can't jump out of the window and run away. We can't scream for help because, from my knowledge, you guys are saying that it's bad. And then I'm all like, our moms aren't even here. Your brother's left for like an hour already, and we're just sitting here, pretty much cornered. I didn't tell him that, but I was like, we're just sitting here. And dude, the moment I said that, those nightlights that were in that room immediately shut off, just completely. And then I ended up looking outside. The lights everywhere was completely dark. Those two lights, the one that was next to our house, out. The one all the way about like, give or take like 400 feet away, out. Bro, there was no lights anywhere. So then I started hearing those shackles again, like those chains walking away, like kind of to the main area, like the kitchen, or not the kitchen, the living room. And I told him, I was like, dude, we're gonna have to run to the other room with your other brother. And they were like, dude, we're not supposed to open the door, and we're not supposed to leave. And then I was like, dude, it's like 10 something. What the hell? Like, you want us to just stay in here? What if somebody's out there? That's what their main concern was. Mine was like, bro, your brother's out there, and he can't even, you know what I mean? Like, he can't. He's pretty much sitting there in the room, not even able to call for help. Like, do you guys not care about him? Like, and again, mind you, I'm 6, almost 7 years old, telling these other kids, like, yeah, that dude, we need to run and go and help his ass too. So we did. When I say we did, I opened the door. There goes the light. I was like, I opened the door and I ran straight to that room. Not to be mean, but I did not care if those kids followed or not. To me, the safest place to be was with someone older. So we did. I did. And when I did, his door was locked, okay? I thought it was unlocked. It was not. It was locked. I'm all knocking on the door, and honestly, again, me in hysterical mode that nobody was there. Like when I say nobody was there, I mean like in the sense that nobody was there to open the door. Okay, he can't do it. So I turned around, and dude, I'm not even lying. You can see somebody walk across the living room from the living room into the kitchen. But like what I had saw, what I was only able to see was half a body. Not like, oh, like he was hurt, like, you know what I mean? Like half his body was missing. No, it was so dark that I was only able to see the bottom half. His feet, chains, and then just walk into the kitchen and immediately disperse, like disappeared, gone. I remember when I seen that, I started screaming. I started screaming, and out of nowhere, like not out of nowhere, the front door opened. It was Josh, and he was like, "What happened? What happened? Are you guys all right?" I was crying, sitting there, crying. You know what I mean? It was a done deal, man. And what's crazy about it is that, like a couple nights after that, once we headed back to our state, that was the end of that night. I was crying. Josh came back with food, but he was also like, I think he was aware of what was going on, because he came in with a cross in his hand, but he also came in like with, I think, a weapon. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was a crowbar, maybe it was a bat, maybe it was something else. I just know that he came in with two things in his hand. I just remember crying and telling myself like, okay, damn, yeah, we're dead, because I couldn't see him. I just seen Josh at the end of it walking towards me, and I'm like, dude, this guy's gonna kill us. Thank God it was not. It was Josh, and he came, kneeled down. I was like, "Where's everybody at?" And I was like, "They're in the room." I'm all crying, and I was trying to go in the brother's room, but the door is locked, and nobody was in there. Oh, there goes the camera. I was like, nobody was in there. Nobody was, opening the door, and I thought I heard him crying, so I just tried to go in there, and then I was gonna tell him like I was trying to help, but I'm over here scared, and I couldn't open the door, and I turned around, and I seen somebody walking, like telling him all this shit, dude. And I just remember after that night on a Friday, we ended up leaving. One, my mom didn't like that. Two, she was apologizing the whole way back to our state. And as I was gonna say, a couple nights after that, um, I guess later in life, my mom did tell me, but in that moment, in that house, apparently I was marked. And when I say that, I mean in a sense like somebody somebody marked me, yo. Like someone put some sort of fucking, like, I don't know how deep people can want to believe this shit, but apparently me, I was marked. Not for like death or anything stupid and crazy, but more so like I was gonna experience more things like that along the way, which I had. Um, but what I do know is that a couple nights after that, my my dad's mother like passed away. A week after that, we had to attend the funeral, of course. Um, but when I had went, I don't know what happened, like, but I was inside a car, right, and like I got burned, like so it was like those old cars, like where the light bulbs would get like excruciatingly hot. Like, was my camera again? Excruciatingly hot, and I was jumping, trying to jump inside the car. That light bulb burst, like busted, and landed like on the side of my neck. And even to this day, I have a burn mark on my neck, on the left side of my neck. And again, after that, a couple of weeks or so later, I ended up getting hit by a truck. Uh, don't know how I survived that shit. I was playing hide and seek, got hit by a truck, woke up in a hospital. Long story short, they told me that I was, well, my mom did later on, that, in that house, that I was apparently marked, which then my mother gave up what she would deem as cleansing. That she didn't want to dabble in that no more, because she didn't want me to, not just me, but she didn't want to bring that type of energy around all the time, or at all. Um, like I said, even to this day, I still get feelings, but nothing too crazy. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Last week I definitely saw something. About 2 weeks before that, I heard something call me. It's weird because it's like now I feel like now it's starting to pick back up. Maybe it's just me wanting to believe it, maybe not. I don't know. But the idea is, it's I'm just like, you know what I mean? I, I don't know. Anyway, I just hope everybody enjoyed those stories. I have more to tell, but those I'd rather save for a later date. Um, and these other stories are going to be a lot more crazy and dark. These are just more funny topics. They're not as bad. I'm gonna hop off. And by hop off, I mean I'm gonna end the stream and then see if my boys are still out there, not dead and not sleeping. Because now I'm spooked out. Let's just put it that way. Uh, Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to drop a like if you enjoyed it. Dislike the video if you didn't. And then comment down some of your own stories that I would like to hear in detail. Because we all go through something. And it was a damn island.
There's some jobs ready
Freak
for
this
you.
game. Peace out. I love you guys. And I'll catch you guys in the next one, man. Maybe. Peace out, guys.